Josh, this is episode 10, by the way.
10 digits, double digits.
I think we've hit a milestone.
We have. That's like 10 weeks of talking to you. Ooh. I don't know how I feel about that.
No, 10 weeks of documented recordings of me. I have to talk to you. I talk to you every day. An obsessive amount. I never have received so many videos on Instagram in my life.
Some would say that's caring. I mean,
some would say it's overbearing.
There's a little bit of hostility in your voice there. Some would say that's
okay, well, you know, pure love. Welcome to another episode of Code and Colour. Josh, you look a little bit amused by that.
I honestly thought you were Pennywise. Oh, well, like, that was just creepy. Here we discuss all things game dev, drawing and digital drawing and game dev and animation. Yeah,
Josh.
You threw me
animation.
off. Yeah, you threw me off.
Animation, Josh.
Yeah.
I threw you off with the Pennywise, did I? I am the switched on, I remember my lines host, Tyler.
And I think my name's Josh, and I'm a host. Josh.
Yeah, Josh just sort of appears when I need him to, really.
Yeah.
So
like Pennywise.
Yeah, but apparently that's me now. So
yeah.
How have you been?
Good, man. Good. Been up to a few game devy things. Been raging, loving life, and enjoying it. Went to see John Wick,
nice.
which was phenomenal.
I've heard good things.
Yeah, so good. What else have I been up to? I've been trying to do a bit of drawing. I have done a bit of drawing while away.
Have you been? Is the Joker looking more jokery?
I've not.
Or have you been drawing some other things?
I've been drawing other things. Yeah, I've tried to. Too much of a good thing. I was like, I'm at a good place with it at the moment. So I was like, I'll draw something else and sort of get the creative juices flowing, as it were. I've just been working on just a couple of drawings.
Nice.
What about yourself?
Nice. Yeah, I'm not too shabby. So what have I been doing? I have been drawing also. So I actually set myself a little challenge to. I've tried to draw it in the past, and that's to draw something that looks like it's underwater.
Yeah.
So I know you've seen it. I showed it to you yesterday. I've just posted it online. I will show you guys the time lapse. It will be here now.
Nice.
So it's a time lapse of me drawing it's kind of like a whale, and there's a turtle underwater as well, and a rowing boat with a dog and a man, and the man's rather startled by the appearance of a whale. I mean, I think anyone would be, right?
And as you can see right now, it is beautiful.
It is.
The trick
is a stunning little masterpiece.
Here it is.
Stunning.
Beautiful. Exhibit A.
But what else have I been doing? So yeah, I've been drawing that. I spent a good portion of I started drawing on Thursday, finished it late last night. I disappeared into my little bubble with it as usual.
Yeah.
But what else have I done? Been playing a lot of Stray, the game with the cat.
Is it good?
Do you know, it's I'm enjoying it. It's pretty.
I can imagine.
It's really pretty.
It does look really next gen.
Stunning. It might be the fact that I've got playing it on PS5 and my monitor that I'm playing on now these days is sick, but it is pretty. It's good. It is good. I think I don't know. I think off the back of playing Season, I'm still reveling in that moment.
Yeah.
That I've probably needed a bit of time to chill before I started taking on another story. So I think that's probably my issue. But it is good. I'm really enjoying it. It's it's fun. It's good fun. It's quite nice to play as a cat. It feels like an unusual thing. There's lots of aspects of the game that feel very much like you're a cat. Do you know what I mean? Like there's you're walking around and there's just pots of paint half off the edge of a surface, and you can just knock them off. It's a very cat thing to do, right? And there's loads of napping points that you can just. It doesn't mean anything, but you just stop and take a nap, and you just kind of, you know what I mean?
I like it.
Soak in the scenery. It's good. It is fun. I recommend it. But what else have I been doing? I finished Agent Elvis. Finished that. Really good fun.
Yeah,
I loved it. It is what it is. Do you know what I mean? Don't go into it expecting mind blowing Like it is just great though. It's so fun. Yeah, really enjoyed that. So what else have I been doing? That is pretty much it for me. Nice. Other than just playing a lot of Fortnite, which, good little segue into what we'll be talking about today. But before we get into it, I've got another icebreaker for you, Joshua.
Oh, yeah.
Don't worry. I am not going to be horrible this time. I felt quite bad, especially when I was editing our last pod. I felt rather bad. But no, I've got a nice one for you, and I've spoken about this one in the past, and it was a tweet that PlayStation made a few years back, but since then the PS5's come out, so I'm going to talk about that with you. I'm assuming you've played most games on like each generation.
I think I've got a healthy back catalogue. Yeah, I would say so.
Okay, so my question to you, and we'll take it in turns, is what game defines each generation of PlayStation for you?
That could be a whole pod. That, to be honest,
could be a whole pod, but just keep it simple. One game per console, so PS1, 2, 3, 4, and then we'll do 5. I'm not sure, obviously, how far you can do with 5. Obviously, it's still very new in its life cycle, and you don't own one. So,
yeah, and I don't think anything's like majorly come out for PS5 where you've gone, oh, this is a PS5 game. This is the PS5 game.
I think, but let's start with the one.
PlayStation 1, what is it, like something that I think defined it for everybody or defined it for me?
For you.
For me. If I was to pick up a game, and I've been actually thinking about it recently, a PS1 game was Die Hard Trilogy.
Wow, okay.
Deep cut.
Wow.
Did you ever play
Any reasons? I don't think I have, no.
So when it came out, it had 3 different games in one. So Die Hard, the first one, the Nakatomi Plaza, you're a third person going around Nakatomi, shooting everybody up. In Die Hard 2, you're on rails shooter with the light gun, right, as a first person. And in the third one, Die Hard with a Vengeance, it's like Crazy Taxi. So you're driving around New York in a taxi trying to like destroy nukes by crashing into them.
Yeah.
And it looked terrible, but it was just that concept of like I think like recently a lot of developers play things safe and like having a game where it's like, actually, here's 3 different types of game in one.
Yeah,
like,
that's
one
bizarre
package.
for a trilogy, right?
Do you know what I mean? It's in one disc. Like it's all you play
cool.
all 3 movies, but they're all different takes on it, and it's like
I guess
different.
It's cool.
Yeah, so for me,
it gives you a fresh experience for each film, right?
Yeah, so for me, like that was like a defining, because I played that a lot and I enjoyed it. I still remember the the little catchphrases that he'd say as he was going around, and that for me is a defining PS1 game. What about you?
Nice. So I'm torn between 2, but I think I'm going to go with one that stands out for me because, and it's the very first Tomb Raider game. It has to be.
Yeah.
It has to be. So I used to play that game a lot as a kid, to the point now. Well, when they did the anniversary edition on PS2 many years later, I was a lot older then by that point. And like, I played it and I knew exactly, I finished the game in like 3-4 hours because I knew every single detail of that game. I knew where every single hidden little thing was. I knew everything, right? I just absolutely 100% of that game so quickly. And like, I remember as a kid, like, I know, you play it now, it's like clunky squares, and it just looks bizarre. But in my head, I thought, this is fantastic. Wow. And I wanted to be Tomb Raider so badly, to the point where I used to pretend to be her, to the point where I would copy her little breathing. When I jumped, I used to go, huh. Like, run into a wall and go, no. I used to do it all the time, right? It used to be a thing I did. But, I'd say it was Tomb Raider. But in close second was the original Rayman, because I love that game. But for me, that actually because they ported that game onto Game Boy Advance, and it was the first game I got on Game Boy Advance other than Mario Kart Super Circuit. So those 2 games are the first ones I got on that. But that kind of defines that generation for me, is more on Game Boy. So PS2.
I was thinking about this, like, because you've not given any prep time for this at all, so I'm trying to like juggle titles. No,
it's nice, isn't it? It gives it.
And for me, the defining one, and it's going to be a big one, it's a big dog, is
Go on.
Metal Gear Solid 2.
That's a good shout. That is a huge shout.
Reason being, for me and for many
Go on.
people, the Metal Gear Solid 2 demo came when demos were a thing with Zone of the Enders. Was Zone of the Enders? I think it's called Zone of the Enders, where you play as big robots and it's all anime and you're firing rockets like Gundam kind of thing.
Yeah, I know the one.
And the demo came with it, and to this day, I reckon that's why Zone of the Enders did so well, is because it came with the Metal Gear Solid 2 demo, and it was fire. Like, it was the best thing ever. Like, just the physics, the graphics, to this day, like, still stand up to this day. And when it eventually did come out, and by the our Lord and Savior Hideo Kojima, he makes the best narratives. He just puts his all into it. And he just
Konami were silly to get rid of him, but go off this.
Yeah, and then he's made Death Stranding, and he's probably making some other things. But he makes good stuff.
I'm still sad we'll never get that Silent Hill.
I think it's coming. I've got a strong suspicion. I think it's coming this year.
Oh God, I hope so.
Yeah.
This year.
Yeah,
because he's got Death Stranding 2 on the go.
Yeah, he's also got something else on the go. But
I hope PT finally gets the life it deserves.
Well, there is a Silent Hill coming out. I'm aware there is a demo for a Silent Hill that's coming out, but I don't know. I don't know if he'll be working on PT, but he's working on something else. I know that. But yeah, that for me, Metal Gear Solid 2, it was
nice,
phenomenal. It still is today.
Yeah, no, definitely. So for me, I'm torn between a few here. So I'm going to say 3, but I'm only going to pick one.
Okay.
But I just want to give some honourable mentions. In fact, I'll give the honourable mentions, and then I'm going to say which one's mine.
Okay.
So my honourable mention is Guitar Hero 2.
Oh, yeah.
Because
defined generation.
Amazing, right? It really did, and it completely changed everything. Like, rhythm gaming became such a thing then as well. Obviously, there was a lot of hype with it because dance mats and things have been a thing for a long time. But I think Guitar Hero really sort of helped define an era for sure. The other one is Rayman 2. I just really like Rayman, but that game, I remember getting stuck on this one bit for ages, and then one day I just was like, I'm gonna go back and did it, and I did it straight away. Don't know how, can't remember why I couldn't figure that one out, but there we go. But for me, the game that defines PS2 is got to be Battlefront 2, Star Wars Battlefront 2. It has to be for me.
Oh, so good.
Well, obviously, I played a lot of the first one, and the first one is super fun. But then they were like, yeah, but what if we let you play as all the heroes, and what if we also allowed you to play as some the cool alien species, and you got to hunt them down and stuff like that? And I was like, yes, I want to play as the Wumpa. I want to do that. I want to go around killing rebels as a Wumpa, and that is absolutely something I want to do. And it was great. What was really funny about those game modes is there were certain characters, if you played at them. There's one where it's battle droids versus the Gungans, and no matter what you tried, the Gungans would never win. Ever. It was almost impossible to win as a Gungan. But yeah, I'm going with Battlefront 2. Super fun. Always loved it.
I'd like to put an honourable mention in as well. Republic Commando.
Great game. I had it on the original Xbox though. So
yeah, I did as well.
I had it on that.
I did. I'm sure. It definitely did come out on PS2, but
I can't remember.
I just that was peak Star Wars.
It is a good
game. And we've never had a third Battlefront.
Well, no, because they decided to reboot it, and it was. I mean, they're fun, but they don't hold up near as much as nearly as much. No. So PS3.
So there's. I'm gonna do what you just did. The three that honourable mentions, and then
go for it.
MotorStorm is an honourable mention.
Nice, of mine. Great game.
Yeah, just
super good game.
Why have we not got more games like that? Going around now. And then
mate, that was a very first release game on PS3. Super fun.
Deep cut. There you go.
Yeah, no, that is good. That's a good shout.
Another one is Killzone 2. Purely for the demo that came out, the video, there was this is what it's going to look like.
Yeah.
And it didn't, and it's sort of it it just sort of like changed everybody's sort of perspective. Of we actually need to be putting out things that like look almost like the game instead of like putting out something that's just like everyone's like, this is what it looks like. I'm like, no, this looks like Last of Us 2. Like, this is not it. It's just not happening. But for me, I mean, it has to be Naughty Dog, Nathan Drake. The original Uncharted.
Oh, okay, Uncharted.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. I got into Uncharted a lot later, but they are fun.
Yeah.
And the first couple are a bit, like, they didn't age too well. The third and fourth one, they're phenomenal.
Oh, yeah. But, like, the train sequence in the second one is just,
Yeah, it's sick.
You know, just transitioning fruit levels. Oh, so good, yeah.
Yeah.
And you got the lovable rogue, Nathan Drake. You know, it's a great character.
You have.
Great, enjoyed it so much.
He is good. He is good until Tom Holland. Anyway.
Let's talk about
that. For me, I've got a few honourable mentions as well. We'll just do honourable mentions if you can think of them. So PS3, I've got Fallout New Vegas.
Oh yeah, shout.
I really like Fallout 3. It's one of my favourite games, but they did something with New Vegas that just it was amazing. I don't know what they did. I don't know what they were eating that day when they came up with that one, but it was fantastic. Love it so much. Oh god, what was the other one? I completely forgotten what my second honourable mention was. Hang on, it's going to come back to me in a second. No, it's not. Oh yes, it is. Far Cry 3.
Oh, what a shout! Yeah.
I didn't know what to expect when I played it. I played Far Cry 2 briefly. I thought, someone went, play this. It's one of the best games you'll ever play. I went, all right, I'll get it. I'll give it a go. I couldn't stop playing it. I don't think I stopped playing it for as long as, until I finished it. There's not an element of that game that isn't amazing. Yeah. So, what's really annoying is no Far Cry game since has stood to that level.
No,
it just never will either.
They try.
They do really try. Far Cry 5 was kind of fun, but I didn't like that your character didn't talk. Yeah, so that was annoying.
I've been playing Far Cry 6, and I got it when it came out, and I barely touched it. It's too much bloat. Like
yeah. They did something right with us, and that's it. But my all time has to be the one and only The Last of Us. It's my favourite game. There's literally no way. It's my second favourite game, but it's my favourite game on PlayStation ever. I got it the day it came out. I remember when it came out, obviously, when it was first announced, obviously it wasn't the huge phenomenon that it then became, right? Yeah. When it first was announced. But I remember seeing a trailer and going, if I don't own this game the day it comes out, I don't want to continue with life. And so I remember I was at college. Sorry, Mum, you're about to hear this, but I left college early that day to go and get it.
Good.
I then went back to college just to show my face, and then left and went home and played Fortnite. Not Fortnite. Played The Last of Us. Played The Last of Us and proceeded to play it for the next 12 to 15 hours until I'd finished it.
Yeah.
And I cried at the end. It made me so sad.
It's so good.
I mean, everyone knows how it ends now, but I just think the TV show was great, right? But it will never hit the same way that game hit when it came out. And that's it for me. It's got to be The Last of Us.
Yeah, I was a bit late to the party with Last of Us. I didn't get it when it came out. I played it with a friend. And he used to play it on like the hardcore. He was like, I'm a hardcore gamer. I'll play it on the hardest difficulty straight away. And I remember like trying to
silly mistake.
Yeah, I remember trying to play it and being like, this is just rock hard. Like, and then
that game's hard on easy, mate.
Yeah, and then I got it like a few years later, and I'm like, I missed the boat, but I was like, still exquisite game.
It is. It's storytelling at its absolute finest. Yeah. And whilst I think obviously we've talked about the show, you can see why they had to adapt it. Because it is a beautiful storytelling. PS4.
So, there's a few. One of them might even be yours. But honourable mentions, I would go with Spider-Man.
I mean, it's definitely it was going to be one of my honourable mentions as well. There's no way it couldn't, right?
Yeah. I mean, aside from like the Arkham games, I mean, they are a good shout for the games that have defined a generation. But like they did it again. You know, like they brought it. Arkham has already been a good solid formula, and then when they brought out the Spider-Man games, they managed to just make a great Spider-Man game. There've been like 15 different Spider-Man games, and I think Spider-Man 2 had the best web swinging mechanics. And then it never got back to there. And then they brought this one out, and they just smashed it out of the park. And with Miles Morales, they smashed it out of the park. It was just fabulous.
You know what's interesting, right? Is I see a lot of things on Twitter where people are like, Sony needs to get rid of Spider-Man. And then I think to myself, do they? Because they made the best Spider-Man game that has ever existed. And they've made two of the best... they've made the best Spider-Man film that ever existed. And they're about to make the second best Spider-Man film that ever existed. It's just like, I think Sony just... Like, I mean, they've had it for so long, that property. And obviously the Sam Raimi trilogy as well, phenomenal. But yeah, Spider-Man is definitely an honourable mention. Carry on.
Another honourable mention, I would say, is back to Uncharted. I think Uncharted 4 was just like
super good
cinema on a screen. Like you were playing, totally. You know, just the most beautiful game ever. But I think for me, the game that I sort of another one, Horizon.
Oh, that was going to be my one.
Oh, was it? Sorry.
Yes.
I won't talk too much about it, but Horizon is an honourable mention.
Sweet.
But the game that defined a generation for PS4 for me was Ghost of Tsushima.
Oh, that was going to be my one. Right, so I was going to have Horizon and Spider-Man and Ghost. But let me talk about Horizon first. Horizon is the first game I owned on PS4.
Yeah.
And I was already interested. There's no way you couldn't love it, right? It's a dystopian world where it's full of robot animals and you go around with a bow and arrow.
Yeah.
What? There's literally... Right, I'm sold. And then I played it and was like, yeah, this is sick. There's nothing I don't love about it. There's nothing I love more than being sneaky with a bow and arrow, which now brings me on to Ghost of Tsushima. There's nothing I love more than raiding a camp full of Mongols and just picking them off one by one with a bow and arrow. It's insane.
Oh, is that what you do?
Yes.
Oh no, I'm walk up to the front gate and challenge the first guy, and then sort of like burrow in there. I'm like,
yeah, but the point of the game is not to be an honourable samurai.
Well, you can play it two different ways, though, can't you? You can be the stealth ninja.
You certainly can, but the story ends the same way.
Yeah.
You're not an honourable samurai.
I'm not. No, I've killed many a Mongol. I'm not going to lie. You know,
it is one of the best games. Visually, it's stunning. I'm going to get the director's cut on PS5 because I need to see it in higher graphics. It's just it's the best. It is so good.
I don't tend to buy DLCs, so I bought DLC for Ghost of Tsushima and Horizon.
The Horizon one's sick.
Yeah, it is enjoyable. I do like it's Frozen Wilds, isn't it? Frozen Wilds?
Yes, it is. Yeah,
it's really good. I really enjoy it.
I haven't played Forbidden West yet.
I want to play that.
The one that came out on PS5. I probably will get it soon, but my list is growing of games. And yeah, obviously we then got PS5, which, yeah, I mean, I've not played enough on it, but for me, so far it's Season. That's a game that defines it for me, but we've still got a long way to go in that console's life cycle.
Yeah.
And there's a lot to come out I'm super excited for.
Yeah, there's not much that's like, and I think with the Xbox at the moment, theirs is all like quantity. Here's Game Pass. Here's all these games you can play day one. Here's all these things, and they sort of spam people with stuff. And PS's sort of ethos is to have like good games to play, like, you know, good story driven, good narrative driven, and you know, and everything's, you know,
and you'd think that Xbox would, right? Considering they've acquired all these studios, but they've actually released nothing.
Yeah, nothing of note. Like Atomic Heart came out, and it's. Bye, see you later. That's been sent out, and
yeah,
3
years that console's been out.
Yeah, nothing of note.
Nothing.
But I think PS will move into sort of more narrative-driven games now that everybody can try and get a PS5.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see more of it. But there has always been one game that's reigned supreme, and it's dominated all competitive game-playing games for the last 6 years, which is Fortnite, which is going to be what we're going to talk about. So should we get into it?
Yeah, sure.
So this week we're going to dive into Fortnite, and not just specifically the Battle Royale. There's been quite a huge update that has been announced in the last week. I'm going to hand it over to Josh, who will walk you through some of that information.
So, as you're all well aware, I love Fortnite with all my heart.
I don't think anyone is actually aware of that, though. Like, we don't talk about it enough. We talk about the fact that I play it. That's it.
Yeah. So Tyler's a big fan of Fortnite. I dabble a bit.
Super.
Yeah. Like
you downloaded it 2 days ago. Don't act like you dabble.
No, I dabbled in the last. How long has it been out? Like 6 years. In the last 6 years, I've dabbled like.
Okay, cool. I have played it.
Intermittent. I've salt bayed it throughout the years. You know, just I'll download
I've played it like extensively for the last year, and then I played it when it first came out, but then I stopped because I travelled the world.
Fair. Well, in regards to Fortnite, there have been some news has dropped recently from State of Unreal with Epic Games and the Unreal Engine, and they have decided to improve their creator economy. So when you make a map on Fortnite, they have decided to pull all their economy together that works with the funding for whatever you pay, like skins and everything that works with the Epic Games Store when you purchase anything through Fortnite, and that's become its own sort of economy. And when you make a map or make anything in regards to Fortnite, the creators get a 40% markup that goes to people who design and create maps and create game experiences in Fortnite, which is phenomenal because
it really is.
Yeah, so when you currently use Epic Games and Unreal Engine, you are given a license, and the license only sort of comes into effect when you start making your first like million, and then you start having to sort of pay back to, you know, give like a royalty to Epic Games for what you've done.
I think that's quite a good way of doing it, really, isn't it? It's almost like it's kind of like saying, you know, we're not expecting you to make massive things, but here's an opportunity to do so, right?
Yeah, and if you do, we'd like, you know, a slice of that you've made.
Yeah.
And, you know, you've used our engine.
Understandably.
Yeah, you've used our engine, you've used all our assets that you've managed to get for free, and you've created an experience that millions of people enjoy. We'd like a sort of share of that. And it's a very fair license in terms of it.
As well, yeah.
For them to be like, oh, actually, because of how much Fortnite makes, if you make a map and you bring people to Fortnite and they enjoy it and they have that longevity, we're willing to pay you 40% of what that is, you know, back to a creator. So the incentive is phenomenal, you know, and it really sort of like pushes the boat. I have dabbled with it over the past past week or so. It got released, and then I sort of downloaded it, and I played around with the creator, and I can safely say, you know, if you are coming into game development, it's a very good place to start because
I was going to say, like, this is a huge stepping stone for, you know, the things that you love, Josh.
Yeah.
You know, game development is something that's been sorely in a lot of trouble, I think. They've, you know, for a long time, because they face so much pressure and backlash and things get happen. We talked about this in the past, right? It's nice to see that Epic and Unreal are encouraging this kind of new wave of a new generation of game developers, right?
Yeah. It gives you that incentive to sort of, you know, play around with it and come into it not as a like a professional, like and not have this huge daunting like Unreal Engine. Like the difference between Unreal Engine and the Fortnite creator is called UEFN, Unreal Engine for Fortnite. Yeah. Is a stark difference. Like Unreal Engine is Unreal Engine, and you've got that limitless possibility. You can literally make anything as long as you've got a creative brain. You can make anything. Now with the Fortnite creator, you do have a limitation in terms of like memory, and it's like a sideline of Fortnite itself, so you have to actually download Fortnite with it.
Yeah.
But it
much to Josh's demise.
Ruined my day. And when
he literally sent me a screenshot of it downloading, being like, "This is the worst thing I've ever done."
Yeah. But I had to download it to sort of like see what it was like and check it out. And for me, like when you use it, you know, it does have its limitations. You have like, I don't know, you have like a bar that says like 100,000 at the top of it, and each thing you add to it contributes to that like 100,000 bar. And you know, to put that into perspective, people have remade the old like version, like the original Fortnite map, and that gives you 130,000, and people having to delete stuff back to make it sort of like user friendly and approachable and you know, something they can send out to people. And the reason there is that cap on it is because they're trying to include mobile gaming and they're trying to include the Switch, which is fine, but you should be able to sort of
Yeah,
change it around and move it along a bit, and have it for Xbox, have it for PC, have it for Switch, and have it for mobile, but have like dulled down versions of it, and then actually for the PC and the Xboxes that can run this, have the best thing you can make. And I think that it'll come out later.
It's interesting though. It's interesting when the full games are available, like the full Fortnite game, which, from where it kicked off 6 years ago, which at the time was a cultural phenomenon, to what it is now, it still remained relevant. But that's come with a cost. That game is huge now. Like, the mechanics in that game and the things that you can do now have really elevated the gameplay. It's a big game, and it's available on mobile, and it's available on Switch. It's interesting that they've limited it to a certain amount of memory.
Yeah.
When I think, whilst I get why they've done it, it does limit that creativity, right?
Well, I think it's because they have to scale it down for like mobile and Switch, just sort of.
No, and I understand that, but it just seems like an odd move.
Yeah, I think they're just trying to get as much exposure to it as possible. But I think because it's in a beta at the moment, I think it'll be added later on and they'll expand it. But I enjoyed it. Like, for me, I like the sort of like creative side of it. And if you've got like a really creative brain, you can make sort of like anything you want. But like to sort of tie it in with Unreal, when you make, like, if you do landmass in Unreal, like you do a landscape, you will go to your terrain tool and you will give yourself a hill. You'll press on you'll press your cursor, you have a circular pad, you'll put it on the map, you'll press it, and it'll make a really weird looking hill, but it'll just look like a grassy hill. That's all it'll look like. Whereas when you do it on the Fortnite versions of it, they have the multi layers of all the different materials. So if you go higher, you've got rock, you've got grass, and it gives it more of a 3D, like, it does all the work for you. So if you are just starting out to be a creative, I could fully recommend just jumping into Fortnite, doing a bit of building, and then sort of progress to Unreal. And I think it's a good sort of stepping stone for that. And it is a good way to sort of like, try and find your feet and find out what works, because everything's already there for you. You've got your character that moves. Yeah. She can pick up stuff. She can throw grenades. She can do everything that a Fortnite character can do, jump on vehicles, and they're all functioning, and you don't have to sort of code that or blueprint any of that stuff like you would do with Unreal. So it's nice to sort of like trial stuff out in that area, in that sort of sandbox, rather than sort of like going to Unreal and be like, oh, this is a huge engine and I don't know anything about it and I've got to do every single thing. Like, I can tell you from experience, it's a lot to learn, and if you're jumping in to learn something, I can highly recommend it. It just needs to be a bit higher memory.
Do you think that people will start to use it as the primary way to make games? Do you think it has that sort of that longevity, I guess?
I think they're trying to push for more people. They know that, like, it is a cash cow, is Fortnite, and it does make the money. And to its credit, they've made an engine based around it, and I think they will try and do it, because you can, from the tech demos that they've shown, you can bring Unreal Engine assets into Fortnite that are not the stylized Fortnite-esque looking things. You can bring things...
I've already seen some of the maps. They look sick.
Yeah, you can bring things that look like Last of Us 2 into Unreal, into the Fortnite engine, and make things that look hyper realistic and don't look anything like Fortnite. And I think that
which then looks so bizarre when you're running around as a character that's basically a fish.
Yeah, and like as a dragon comes down and you can see that's all rigged and all animated and it looks fabulous, and you're just like, oh, the characters of Fortnite fish. But I think I think they'll move towards having your own sort of skins and stuff where you can like move change the obviously look of the main character, but still have this core dynamics of Fortnite. But I don't know where they'll sort of go with it. But I think it is something that it is a good platform to start your game off if they increase that memory. Yes, I think it's a very good thing.
I wonder if they face any licensing issues, because Fortnite uses a lot of licensed characters from all aspects of pop culture. So I'm wondering if that will be there'll be licensing issues with when creators release their games. Is that going to be something they're going to have to deal with, or is it going to be? Are you limited to what skins you can use? I don't know. Like, I imagine you know more than I do.
I haven't managed to have a look at the actual skins itself. I know that when in the actual creator, you're given like 4 years worth of content, of like the different buildings that they've created, the different sort of props that they've used, like, and like crystals, and more about them. There's all these different like purple crystals you can get, and different like health potions. They've given you 4 years worth of content. Now, with regards to the licensing side of it, I haven't come across anywhere I can just run around as like Kratos, for instance, and like go make my own sort of God of War, because I think then you are sort of dabbling into territory where it's like, yes, this is a Fortnite game, but it is.
So you mean I can't put Ariana Grande in the Last of Us setting?
I'm sure you can. I've just as of recording, I haven't yet seen anything where it's like got a different, like the Master Chief, the Master Chief in the zombie apocalypse. Like I haven't seen anything like that yet.
Oh, you so want that?
Oh, yeah. Got no flood in the TV show. Yeah, got no flood.
Give me the flood I want.
Yeah, exactly. Got no flood in the TV show. I can do it in the game. I'm happy with that.
Put all the game characters in there. Like the amount of game characters that are in their series is insane.
I played as a female. I think she's like the stock character, the stock female brown hair. But the
Ramirez, I think her name is.
I think so, yeah. And I liked it because it's from my sort of standpoint when I'm learning how to animate stuff and move things around. It's nice that everything's already there for you. Like you press a button, she opens the door. Like it's all ready made, and I can't stress enough how much that is like an easier version of Unreal. Like if you are really big into your map making, I can highly recommend it, and I think you should really just like jump on board with that and get into it.
Yeah. Hopefully it's not limited to just people making, fancy Battle Royale maps. It would be nice to see what comes out of it. Josh, I hope you kind of make a little game, because Josh said, you can port it into an actual Fortnite game, and I'll give it a go.
Yeah, you can have different game modes, and you can do like Capture the Flag, and you can do all these different sort of like multiplayer game modes. Yeah. But it's just having that sort of creative mind with it, and like, oh, actually, what can I do with this? Because I tried to sort of, when I was doing it, I tried to make 2 islands and have like a bridge in between, and like try and make like a resort. But I started putting things down like a castle and like a different things, and the memory was just like, woo, and I was like, I didn't even put any trees. I didn't even put a tree down. Like I was like, I wanted to make like a forest, and I was like, nah, it's just not happening. So for me, it's if you've got an idea and you've got something that's like small and like like something that's replayable, then yes,
I think it'll be really good. It sounds like it'd be good for indie games, right? Games on a much smaller scale. I think that's kind of probably what they're aiming for at this stage while it's in a beta. I'm kind of disappointed I don't get to dabble in it because it's only exclusive to PC. I don't have one.
You can play it on Mac.
Yeah, but I wouldn't play it on a Mac. Not this one, anyway. Yeah, no, but it is cool, and I think it's a huge stepping stone for Fortnite, and is once again, further evidence of how superior that game is in terms of the gaming market. It is still dominating it to 6 years later. People can slate that game to no end, but you can't deny that game's power.
I will stand by that these views are Tyler's own views about the dominating it. Yeah.
How is it not, Josh? How's it not? It's still one of the most popular games in the world.
It's a powerhouse. I do get it, but I think for the big takeaway from it is the incentive that you get like 40% back. Like if it really is like if you are starting out and you are wanting to sort of like make something that can generate you a little bit of a side income, and you are creative, that there is that prospect where it's just like we look after our developers, and I think that makes Fortnite for me more appealing. Is the fact that you can make something from it, and you can do it, and it is it's hard to not discredit that it is, children play it, everybody plays it, all walks of life play it, and it's got things in there for everybody, and it is an adaptable game. I do, and I think I can appreciate that.
Well, given the our entire message of this podcast is to encourage animation, encourage game development. This is a huge stepping stone for us, and I think we were both equally as excited to find out this news, because we talk a lot about the downsides and the losses in both of these industries. It's nice to see a win, and it's nice to see a win on a very popular platform that people will engage with. So this is a huge stepping stone, and like a huge credit to Epic Games and Unreal for this. I think I want to see more.
Yeah. So from
I want to see more developers do that.
Yeah, and from that, obviously there's been some other announcements from Unreal Engine as well. The state of play, Fortnite was a big dog. It was a big swing. It was Fortnite, and it
Hard
hit,
not to be.
It did. It hit well. So a couple of other things that have been shown off is you'll soon be able to animate your metahumans with your iPhone. So for our listeners, a
not quite the stepping stone I want for go.
What that means is if you know a small little project that's coming out called Hellblade 2, Senua's whatever it's called. It's Hellblade 2 anyway.
Senua's Rising.
What's it called?
Yeah.
Is it Senua's Rising? Yeah. So anyway, looks phenomenal, looks great. It looks amazing. So she came onto the stage and they basically animated a character using an iPhone and putting her face on there, and she looked like something out of Last of Us 2. So while this doesn't sound like a huge step, being able to animate and do like face capture with an iPhone from your home and not go to like a mocap studio is a phenomenal step forward.
You're correct.
So like, you know, I'm gonna try it out and see if I can animate a character using my own face.
Unless I can get it on iPad.
Well, I think it's like any sort of phone in general, but I think they used an iPhone at the press conference when they were doing it. Another thing that's fabulous to note is they have obviously released Unreal Engine 5.2, which is another version of Unreal Engine 5, and they've just added a few little things in beta at the moment where you can add. They're doing like a procedural generated forest, and it takes. So if you create like a dense forest and then you take a piece out or you put a piece in, you'll have certain parameters that you can take, and it'll procedurally generate like a part of this forest that's, you know, fully realized and looks fully shaded and everything's already added and all the meshes are all in conjunction with everybody, and they sort of communicate in a way that's like if you were designing a level, it just takes all that pressure of like, oh, I need to put this there, I need to do that. It does it for you. So like as an instance, they take like a castle strut in this case, like a building, and they take it out and they just change the parameters and go, actually, I need this, this, and this. Generate something from it, and it generates like something completely different that has like a log that lines over like a valley bit, and it's all really dynamic and pretty, and it just takes the thought out of doing stuff. And I think that like with the advancements in like AI, you know, and having those choices made for you from a creative standpoint, if you can anything that makes your life easier as a creator, I think is a good step forward. Like, and I think it's good to sort of, you know, you just get behind, because, you know, if I'm sat there going, oh, what would go there? And I'm like, you know, you're racking your brain for like 2-3 hours or a couple of days, weeks, whatever, you know, however you're working on it. And if you can just click a few boxes and go, actually, I think it should have this, this, and this, show me something, you could then have something that's like a template and then mold it from there. Lots
of, you know, like stuff. It's nice, like I said this earlier, but it's nice to see Unreal giving, you know, opportunities to people who haven't got the access, like the equipment needed to make these things accessible. They've made it a hell of a lot easier. So yeah, like I said, big props to Unreal and to Epic Games for doing such a thing. CNC recommendation, Josh. Back over to you. What have you got for us?
Well, in the vein of, you know, animated projects and things that are coming out, Seth Rogen's having a dabble with it. He's making a new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and I thought I would revisit the old TMNT that came out a few years back. I think it was like 2012, I want to say. Animated. Do you know what? I found this out yesterday. Raphael is played by Nolan North.
Is he?
Yeah.
Wow, good for him.
And
that's a huge step for him.
There's a little scrap that they have in the voice, and he's talking away, and I'm like, Nathan Drake, you know, that's just going through.
Nathan, that's mad.
Yeah. So TMNT. Patrick Stewart's in it, and it's about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Leonardo's in South America, and it's a good animated film, and it's good for kids, good for adults, you know. And I think because they are bringing out a new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, it's nice to get sort of nostalgic. I've been watching TV shows, so, you know, get on it. Get that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles book.
Get it on the TV. Yeah. Get clued up on the Turtles before the new film comes out.
Yeah.
Solid recommendation, Josh. Love to see it.